Have you ever wondered why so many people pass away after 75, even when they seemed perfectly fine just years before? The truth is, 99% of deaths at that age come down to just a handful of causes. Causes that aren't as inevitable as you might think. Most assume it's just natural to slow down or fade away with age. But what if I told you that many of these risks are avoidable, and the power to change your future lies in your hands right now? In this video, we're diving into the 5 leading causes of death after 75. Some you'll expect, others might shock you. You need to watch until the end because knowing these dangers isn't just about statistics. It's about unlocking simple, life-changing steps you can take today to stay strong, independent, and thriving for years to come. Before we begin, I would appreciate it if you like this video. You can help me continue to spread the old age lesson. If you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. If you like this video, please comment number 1. If you don't like it, comment number 0 to let me know, so I can make a better video for you. Now let's get started. Number 1. Heart disease. Heart disease stands as the undisputed leading cause of death for individuals over the age of 75. Yet what's truly surprising is how many people remain unaware of the significant control they wield over its prevention and progression. The heart isn't just some mysterious organ ticking away in your chest. It's a muscle, one that thrives with proper care and weakens under neglect, much like your biceps or legs would if you stopped exercising them. The challenge lies in its subtlety. Unlike a strained muscle that aches after a workout, the heart doesn't always send clear signals when it's struggling. For years, it can endure silent damage, only revealing its distress when the situation becomes critical, often too late to reverse the harm. Many dismiss symptoms like fatigue, shortness of breath, or a gradual slowdown as inevitable parts of aging, but these can be red flags that your heart is losing its strength. Recognizing this distinction is crucial because it's not just about growing older, it's about how well you're supporting your heart as the years add up. One of the most insidious contributors to heart disease is high blood pressure, often called the silent killer for a reason. Over decades, it relentlessly strains your arteries, forcing your heart to pump harder to push blood through narrowing, stiffening pathways. Imagine your arteries as flexible hoses that, under constant pressure, begin to harden and crack. It's a slow, invisible process that builds up to catastrophic results. What makes it so dangerous is its lack of obvious symptoms. No sharp pains, no flashing warning lights, just a quiet erosion of your cardiovascular health. For countless people over 75, this unnoticed strain culminates in a sudden heart attack or stroke, leaving them, or their families, stunned, wondering how they went from feeling fine to fighting for their lives in a matter of hours. Diet plays an equally critical role, and its impact unfolds over a lifetime. Decades of consuming processed foods laden with sodium, trans fats, and refined sugars gradually clog arteries, impair circulation, and starve the heart of the vitality it needs to function. But it's not just about what you shouldn't eat, it's also about what you're missing. A diet lacking in heart-healthy nutrients like omega-3 fatty acids, fiber, antioxidants, and potassium accelerates the damage far faster than most realize. Think of your heart as an engine. It needs premium fuel to run smoothly, and if you're feeding it low-quality junk instead of nutrient-rich foods like leafy greens, nuts, or fatty fish, you're essentially running it into the ground. The effects compound over time, turning small dietary missteps into a major threat to your longevity. Then there's the issue of physical inactivity, a silent saboteur of heart health. The heart wasn't designed to sit idle. It thrives on movement, relying on regular activity to maintain strong circulation and efficient pumping. When you stop moving, whether due to a sedentary lifestyle or the limitations of age, your entire system slows down. Muscles atrophy, blood flow becomes sluggish, and your heart weakens from lack of challenge. You don't need to be lifting weights or running marathons. Even gentle, consistent activity like a daily walk, some light stretching, or seated exercises can make a world of difference. The key is consistency. Keeping your heart engaged keeps it resilient, slashing your risk of heart disease in ways that no pill alone can replicate. Perhaps the most pervasive and dangerous myth is that heart disease is simply unavoidable, a roll of the genetic dice or an inescapable byproduct of aging. People point to family histories of heart attacks or shrug it off as just what happens when you get old. But this fatalistic mindset ignores the evidence. Your daily choices hold immense power. The meals you eat, the steps you take, the way you handle stress, these aren't trivial details. They're the building blocks of your heart's future. Small, intentional habits, sustained over time, can tip the scales from vulnerability to vitality. The takeaway here is clear. You're not a passive bystander in this story. The decisions you make today, starting with your next meal or your next walk, can strengthen your heart for the years ahead. There's no better moment than right now to take charge, because every beat counts, and you have more influence over them than you might believe. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 1 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now, let's move forward. Number 2. Falls and injuries. When you think of the greatest threats to health after age 75, diseases like cancer or dementia might come to mind. But one of the most immediate, overlooked dangers isn't a medical condition at all. It's a fall. Picture this. One moment you're reaching for a shelf, stepping over a rug, or navigating a dimly lit room, and the next, you're on the floor, dazed, with everything you took for granted, your mobility, your independence, suddenly at risk. A single misstep can lead to a fractured hip, a traumatic brain injury, or even a cascade of complications from what seems like a minor bump. What makes falls so perilous is their unpredictability and their potential to transform a healthy, active life into one of dependency in the blink of an eye. Most people don't grasp how vulnerable they are until they're staring up from the ground, wondering how something so simple went so wrong. The statistics are staggering. Falls rank among the leading causes of injury-related deaths for seniors, sending millions to emergency rooms annually. For many, a fall isn't just a temporary setback, it's the beginning of a downward spiral. A broken hip, for instance, might mean months of immobility, skyrocketing the risk of infections, blood clots, or pneumonia, all while stripping away the ability to live independently. Yet despite their prevalence, falls remain under the radar as a preventable risk. People assume they're safe in their familiar homes, surrounded by routines they've mastered over decades, until that one moment proves otherwise. The tragedy is that this threat often goes unaddressed until it strikes, either in their own lives or in the life of someone they care about. Aging itself sets the stage for this danger. Over time, balance erodes, muscles lose their strength, and reflexes dull, all so gradually that you might not notice until you're tested. You might feel steady enough shuffling through your kitchen or climbing a few stairs, but then a sudden turn or an unexpected obstacle reveals the gap between perception and reality. Recovery isn't what it used to be, either. What might have been a quick bounce back in your 30s can now fracture bones or bruise organs, with healing time stretching into weeks or months. This slow decline in physical resilience is natural, but it's not inevitable that it leads to disaster, if you're proactive. What's worse, the aftermath of a fall often breeds a paralyzing fear. After a close call, say, a stumble that doesn't quite land you on the floor, many seniors instinctively pull back. They avoid walking outside, skip the stairs, or limit their movements to play it safe. But this well-intentioned caution backfires. The less you move, the more your muscles weaken, the shakier your balance becomes, and the higher your risk climbs. It's a vicious cycle that can trap you in a shrinking world, where fear of falling becomes the very thing that ensures it happens again. Breaking this pattern requires a shift in mindset, from avoidance to action. The good news? Falls aren't an unavoidable fate. You can dramatically lower your risk with practical, accessible steps. Strengthening exercises for your legs and core. Think simple squats or standing leg lifts. Build the stability you need to stay upright. Balance training, like standing on one foot or practicing slow, deliberate steps, sharpens your coordination. And don't overlook your environment. Brighter lights, non-slip mats, clutter-free floors, and well-placed handrails turn your home from a hazard zone into a haven. These aren't complicated fixes, but their impact is profound, potentially preserving your freedom and vitality for years. Another hidden factor: medications. Many drugs prescribed for common conditions, think blood pressure pills, sleep aids, or painkillers, carry side effects like dizziness, drowsiness, or sudden drops in blood pressure when you stand. If you've ever felt woozy after getting up too fast, that's a clue your meds might be tipping the scales toward instability. A candid chat with your doctor to review your prescriptions, tweak dosages, or explore alternatives could be a literal lifesaver. Staying mindful of how your body reacts, pausing before standing, moving deliberately, adds another layer of protection. Falls aren't just about tripping over a cord or missing a step. They're about the strength you maintain, the steadiness you cultivate, and the awareness you bring to your daily life. After 75, a single fall can rewrite your future, but the right precautions today can keep you on your feet, in your home, and living the life you want. It's not about fear, it's about empowerment. If you're still with me and finding value in these insights, drop number 2 in the comments to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I'd encourage you to hit that button and turn on notifications. Your support fuels more content like this, designed to inform, inspire, and help you thrive. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now, let's move forward. Number 3. Respiratory diseases. Breathing is one of those fundamental, automatic processes we rarely think about, until it becomes a struggle. It's something we do every moment of every day, yet as we age, our lungs gradually lose their youthful efficiency. The tissues become less elastic, the airways narrower, and the muscles that support breathing weaker. For most people, this slow decline goes unnoticed until a minor respiratory issue, a cough, a wheeze, a fleeting shortness of breath, suddenly spirals into something much more serious. After the age of 75, respiratory diseases rank among the top causes of death, not because they're an inevitable part of growing older, but because they're too often overlooked or dismissed until they've progressed beyond easy management. The good news? With awareness and proactive steps, many of these risks can be minimized, helping you maintain your health and independence for years to come. One of the most insidious threats to lung health is chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, commonly known as COPD. This umbrella term encompasses conditions like emphysema, where the air sacs in the lungs deteriorate, and chronic bronchitis, where the bronchial tubes become chronically inflamed. Over time, these diseases progressively narrow the airways, turning every breath into a conscious effort. For many older adults, the early signs, persistent coughing, a rattling wheeze, or feeling winded after climbing a few stairs, are brushed off as just aging. But these aren't normal. They're red flags signaling that your lungs are crying out for attention. Left unchecked, COPD can lead to frequent infections, debilitating fatigue, and a reliance on supplemental oxygen, dramatically altering your quality of life. Then there's pneumonia, a familiar term that belies its deadly potential, especially for those over 75. What might begin as a lingering cold, a slight fever, or a bit of chest congestion can rapidly escalate into a full-blown, life-threatening infection. Why is it so dangerous? As we age, our immune system weakens, and our body's ability to clear pathogens from the lungs diminishes. For seniors, pneumonia often means hospitalization, and in too many cases, it triggers a cascade of complications: respiratory failure, sepsis, or organ damage that some never recover from. Statistics paint a stark picture. Pneumonia is a leading cause of hospital admissions in older adults, and for many, it marks the beginning of a steep and irreversible decline. Beyond specific diseases, environmental factors play a massive role in respiratory health. Decades of exposure to outdoor pollutants, car exhaust, industrial emissions, secondhand smoke, quietly erode lung function over time. But it's not just the outside world. Indoor air quality can be just as damaging. Mold spores hiding in damp corners, pet dander floating in the air, or chemicals from cleaning products can silently aggravate the lungs. For someone with pre-existing conditions like asthma or COPD, these irritants can turn a manageable issue into a daily battle to breathe. The fix doesn't have to be complicated. Using an air purifier, ventilating your home regularly, avoiding smoking or smoky environments, and keeping humidity levels in check can all make a measurable difference. Exercise, too, is a surprisingly powerful tool for lung health, one that's often underestimated. Your lungs aren't just passive organs. They thrive on activity. When you move, your breathing deepens, your lungs expand fully, and mucus that could harbor bacteria gets cleared out more effectively. Conversely, a sedentary lifestyle lets your lungs idle, reducing their capacity and leaving them more vulnerable to infections. You don't need to run marathons. Simple, consistent activities like a daily walk, gentle stretching, or even deep breathing exercises can keep your respiratory system resilient. The key is consistency. The more you engage your lungs, the better they'll serve you as you age. Vaccinations are another critical line of defense, yet they're frequently overlooked. Shots for pneumonia, influenza, and even newer respiratory threats like RSV, respiratory syncytial virus, aren't just for kids, they're lifesavers for seniors. These preventable illnesses can easily escalate into severe infections, especially when immunity wanes. A quick visit to the doctor for an annual flu shot or a one-time pneumococcal vaccine could be the difference between a mild sniffle and a week-long hospital stay, or worse. It's a small, practical step that offers outsized protection. Ultimately, breathing shouldn't feel like a chore, but for too many people over 75, it does. Not because it's an unavoidable fate, but because the warning signs were ignored and the solutions weren't embraced early enough. Your lungs are tireless workers, sustaining you through every laugh, every conversation, every step. By staying vigilant, listening to your body, protecting your air quality, staying active, and leveraging medical tools like vaccines, you can keep them strong and functional. Taking care of your respiratory health isn't just about avoiding disease. It's about preserving your freedom to live life on your terms. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 3 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now, let's move forward. Number 4. Stroke. A stroke strikes like lightning. Sudden, unpredictable, and capable of altering your life in a single, devastating moment. 1 minute you're fine, the next you're grappling with confusion, paralysis, or worse. After age 75, strokes climb the ranks to become one of the leading causes of death and disability, yet what's truly staggering is how preventable many of them are. Experts estimate that up to 80% of strokes could be avoided with the right knowledge and action. The tragedy isn't just in the event itself, but in how often people miss the chance to act before it's too late. A stroke doesn't usually offer a do-over. Its damage, whether mild or catastrophic, is often permanent. But the power to sidestep this fate lies largely in your hands, starting with understanding the risks and making informed choices today. So, what exactly is a stroke? It happens when the brain's blood supply is interrupted, either by a clot blocking an artery, ischemic stroke, or a vessel rupturing and bleeding into the brain, hemorrhagic stroke. Without oxygen-rich blood, brain cells start dying within minutes. The effects depend on the area of the brain affected and how long the disruption lasts. A minor stroke might leave you with temporary dizziness or a shaky hand, while a major one could rob you of speech, mobility, or even consciousness. For too many, it's fatal, a sudden end that leaves no time for goodbyes. The stakes are high, but so is the potential to protect yourself. High blood pressure tops the list of culprits. Often called the silent killer, it exerts relentless force on artery walls, weakening them over time until they either clog or burst. The scariest part? It rarely announces itself with symptoms. Millions of people live with hypertension unaware, their risk mounting daily until a stroke reveals the truth. Regular monitoring, whether at home with a cuff or at a doctor's office, isn't just a good habit, it's a lifeline. Catching and managing high blood pressure early can slash your stroke risk dramatically. Another hidden danger lurks in the heart, atrial fibrillation, AFib, a common irregular heartbeat in older adults. When the heart's rhythm falters, blood can stagnate, forming clots that, if dislodged, may travel to the brain and trigger a stroke. Many seniors experience AFib's subtle flutters or fatigue without connecting the dots, but a routine checkup with an electrocardiogram, ECG, can spot it. Medications or procedures to regulate heart rhythm or prevent clotting can then lower the odds of disaster. It's a simple intervention with profound impact. Lifestyle choices weave into this equation, too. A diet heavy on processed foods, sodium, and saturated fats lays the groundwork for clogged arteries and high blood pressure, while physical inactivity thickens blood and slows circulation. Perfect conditions for a stroke. Flipping the script doesn't require a radical overhaul. Swapping salty snacks for leafy greens, cutting back on red meat, and sipping water instead of sugary drinks can shift the odds in your favor. Pair that with regular movement, brisk walks, gardening, even dancing, and you're actively fortifying your defenses. Don't ignore the warning shots, either. Transient ischemic attacks, TIAs, or mini-strokes, are brief episodes, sometimes just a few minutes, of stroke-like symptoms. Sudden numbness, slurred speech, blurred vision, or confusion. They fade quickly, tempting you to shrug them off, but they're a blaring alarm. A TIA means a bigger stroke could be imminent, and immediate medical attention can stop it in its tracks. Think of it as your brain's SOS. Heed it, and you might save yourself from irreversible harm. The bottom line: you're not powerless against strokes. Monitor your blood pressure, nourish your body with smart food choices, keep moving, and act fast if warning signs appear. These aren't just tips, they're tools to safeguard your independence and vitality. The earlier you start, the better your odds of dodging this silent threat. If you're still with me and finding this breakdown helpful, drop number 4 in the comments to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I'd love for you to hit that button and turn on notifications. Your support keeps us delivering content to educate and empower you. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 4 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now, let's move forward. Number 5. Cognitive decline and related complications. One of the most poignant and devastating truths about growing older is the gradual erosion of cognitive abilities. Memory, reasoning, problem-solving, and the independence that comes with them. Cognitive decline isn't a sudden event that announces itself with fanfare. It's a slow, insidious process that begins with subtle shifts so minor they're easy to overlook or dismiss as mere quirks of aging. Perhaps it's forgetting where the car keys are won too many times, struggling to recall a familiar name, or losing the thread of a conversation. At first, these moments seem trivial, little more than fleeting annoyances. But as time marches on, those small, seemingly inconsequential lapses can snowball into something far more profound and debilitating, fundamentally altering a person's life and threatening their very survival. For many, cognitive decline manifests in serious conditions like dementia or Alzheimer's disease, which don't merely cloud the mind but cast a shadow over the entire body's well-being. As mental faculties deteriorate, so too does the capacity to manage the necessities of self-care. Tasks that were once second nature, taking prescribed medications on schedule, preparing and eating a balanced meal, or noticing the early warning signs of a health problem, become daunting, if not impossible. Imagine a senior who forgets to drink enough water throughout the day. What starts as mild thirst can spiral into severe dehydration, a condition that can lead to confusion, kidney failure, or worse. Others may unintentionally skip meals or overeat, resulting in malnutrition, dangerous weight loss, or obesity that amplifies the risk of diabetes, heart disease, and other life-threatening illnesses. Yet perhaps the most immediate and harrowing danger lies in the accidents that cognitive decline invites. A stove left burning after cooking, a front door left unlocked in the middle of the night, or a disoriented wander into traffic or freezing weather. These are not hypothetical scenarios but real risks that grow increasingly likely as memory and judgment fade. Forgetting how to navigate familiar spaces or failing to recognize danger can turn a once safe home into a minefield of hazards. Tragically, this often marks the beginning of the end of independence for many older adults. When living alone becomes too perilous, they may require constant supervision or a move to assisted care. Without adequate support, their physical health plummets alongside their mental decline, creating a vicious cycle that accelerates both. What makes this process even more frightening is its stealthy onset. Cognitive decline often progresses unnoticed in its early stages, masked by the common assumption that forgetfulness is just a natural part of aging. Misplacing glasses, stumbling over words, or needing a moment longer to process a question, these early red flags are frequently shrugged off as benign, chalked up to senior moments. But beneath the surface, these subtle signs may be the brain's quiet cries for help, signaling that deeper changes are underway. The harsh reality is that by the time the symptoms become undeniable, when confusion, disorientation, or significant memory loss take hold, the condition may have advanced significantly. Early detection and intervention are critical. The sooner one recognizes and addresses these warning signs, the greater the opportunity to slow the decline and preserve a sharp, functional mind well into later years. Fortunately, there are powerful ways to safeguard cognitive health and push back against this creeping threat. One of the most effective defenses is keeping the mind active and engaged. The brain, much like the muscles in your body, thrives on regular exercise. Activities such as reading challenging books, mastering a new language or instrument, solving intricate puzzles, or engaging in thought-provoking discussions stimulate neural connections and bolster cognitive resilience. These mental workouts don't just maintain brain function, they can help build a cognitive reserve, a buffer that may delay the onset of decline even in the face of aging or disease. Equally crucial, though often underestimated, is the role of physical exercise in protecting brain health. Movement isn't just for the body. It's a lifeline for the mind. Activities like walking, swimming, or yoga increase blood flow to the brain, delivering oxygen and nutrients that support memory, focus, and overall cognitive function. Studies have shown that regular exercise can even promote the growth of new brain cells, particularly in the hippocampus, the region tied to memory and learning. It's a startling yet empowering truth. A brisk daily walk could be as vital to your mental sharpness as it is to your physical stamina. Social interaction, too, plays an indispensable role in staving off cognitive decline. Humans are inherently social creatures, and isolation can be a silent killer of mental acuity. Loneliness and a lack of meaningful connection have been shown to accelerate cognitive deterioration at an alarming rate. Conversely, staying socially active, whether through regular chats with loved ones, gatherings with friends, or participation in community groups, keeps the brain firing on all cylinders. These interactions challenge memory, sharpen communication skills, and provide emotional support, all of which fortify mental health. The more you immerse yourself in new experiences and relationships, the more adaptable and robust your brain becomes. Diet, of course, is another cornerstone of cognitive longevity. What you put on your plate directly influences how well your brain performs. Nutrient-rich foods like fatty fish teeming with omega-3 fatty acids, vibrant berries packed with antioxidants, and leafy greens brimming with vitamins E and K are proven to shield brain cells from damage and reduce the risk of dementia. Nuts, seeds, and whole grains further nourish the mind, while excessive processed foods, refined sugars, and unhealthy fats fuel inflammation that can impair cognitive function over time. A healthy brain is inseparable from a healthy body, and the dietary choices you make today ripple forward, shaping your mental clarity and vitality for decades to come. The notion that losing cognitive function is an unavoidable fate of aging is a myth worth debunking. While some decline may occur naturally, the extent and speed of it are far from set in stone. By taking proactive steps now, exercising your mind with stimulating challenges, moving your body to boost brain health, staying connected with others, and fueling yourself with nourishing foods, you can dramatically lower your risk and preserve your mental edge. Your brain is not a passive bystander to the passage of time. It's a dynamic organ that responds to how you treat it. Invest in its care with the same diligence you'd give to any other vital part of your body, and it will reward you with strength, clarity, and resilience for years to come. Thank you so much for watching this video all the way through. We've covered a lot today: heart disease, falls, respiratory issues, stroke, and cognitive decline. The 5 leading causes of death after 75 that don't have to be your story. The truth is, small choices you make now can add years of strength, clarity, and independence to your life. So, I'd love to hear from you. What have you learned so far? Please take a moment to comment below with one thing that stood out to you and how you plan to bring it into practice in your life. Your thoughts mean the world to us and inspire others too. If you like this video, please leave your comment below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Your support helps us keep creating content to inform and empower you. Thanks again, and we'll see you in the next video.